I want to share the funniest game story I found today. School Days is getting remastered. And this is one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard. Who was ever asking for a School Days remaster? Who asked for School Days is getting remastered? That is a game I wish was dead. But I'm going to guess boat prices are going to increase. Someone's going to lose their head over this. I will come up with these random puns. Yeah, I got nothing else. Now we're going to get into the slightly depressing story. But I do want to talk about it because I think we're all missing the point of this story. We're all missing the point. Now, over the last year or so, I don't know, 10 months, year or so, there's been an initiative called Stop Killing Games. Now, the reason why I talk about it is because I don't want to talk about the pirate software stuff. Quite frankly, that's not the point of Stop Killing Games. And I kind of think misses the point of Stop Killing Games. Everyone goes immediately when they think of Stop Killing Games to pirate software. No, the point of the movement should be, the figurehead of the movement should actually be Ross Scott, aka Accursed Farms, right? Personally, I think yes. Please tell me that's talking about Stop Killing Games and not School Days. Anyways, Stop Killing Games. The issue that I have with everyone, they seem to sort of think about the idea that pirate software is synonymous with Stop Killing Games. It's not. It should be a cute Accursed Farms and Ross Scott. Now, I'll first talk about what the heck is Stop Killing Games. I don't want to talk really too much in depth of it. I'm an idiot. Alright, I'm a moron. I'm an absolute idiot. So I do actually have some notes here. The idea of Stop Killing Games is a campaign started by YouTuber Ross Scott to protect games from being shut down forever. It's a fight against companies making games unplayable after they take them offline, even for players who paid for them, to make sure that games stay playable either by avoiding offline modes or letting fans run private servers, so players will no longer lose access to what they bought. Now, in the age of where we're playing things like Genshin Impact, where we're actually playing games like NTE, where games might eventually go offline, I'm thinking more games like Mastodon, where people have literally, this weekend I literally saw somebody spend 100,000 gems, that's $2 grand on a game with digital cards. Now, if that game ever got offline, the person has officially lost. $2 grand has been lost if that game ever goes offline. Now, this is a gotcha game. Mastodon is a gotcha game. The point is, we kind of always focus on the pirate software drama. We're not focusing on the guy behind it. Accursed Farm did a lot of this work, and he's sort of been like overshadowed by the dramas surrounding pirate software. And it's kind of a shame because he made a solid argument, he made a solid point. The main goal is just to give offline mode. The actions that have been taken are legal. It's like if you buy a Persona and they can't kill the servers if you play offline. Yeah, exactly. It's like there's so many of these games that are officially live service games and will eventually die off. Eventually, a company will lose interest in funding it. Gotcha games are less likely to happen because, I mean, let's face it, every single gotcha game I know of has still got service. But there are games like City of Heroes. It was a game that not many people I'm going to guess know about, but the idea was pretty simple. You make a hero and you go around either choosing to be a savior or a villain. Like, it was an MMO. It's an MMO where you play around as either a hero or villain. They actually, that's the point of the game. But you can also see, like, just look at like creative you could get with your heroes. I know for a fact that a lot of people got really creative with the particular heroes that they created, and the server just sort of went offline. I don't actually know what happened to it, but I do know it was one of these servers that just went offline, and all the characters' progress, all your sort of things that you made, this might be hard to make offline. Yeah, that's the sort of thing. But it's sort of the idea that you have the option to. I'm not saying that this is perfect, but it's sort of like, no one's saying this is going to be, like, the idea of making a private server, like this person's talking about, where fans can just go ahead and just chill for a bit. Like, I don't know, that's sort of an interesting idea. Like, I don't know, like, you don't need to sort of go hand in hand with it. I know for a fact that RuneScape had a history of offline servers that was managed by individual parties, like third parties, to the point where the people who made RuneScape actually wanted to buy out one of the private software private developers, I think the developers, to make sure that they made it official. I can't remember the full drama behind it, but basically the idea was they were doing such a good job doing it that they made the private server more akin to, I think they just bought it out and just made it so that you could run classic RuneScape on it. I don't actually remember the story, but the idea was there was a bunch of competitions for these private servers. The servers were no longer going to be functioned. People were worried that they were going to be doing some sort of item modding, but no, they then just bought all the servers and just made it so you could play classic RuneScape. I don't remember.
This is what a player named Matthew came up with an idea to develop his own client for RuneScape. He would be able to add in any missing client features that players wanted, while Jagex's staff focused on doing whatever they could to keep the game going.
Point is, it's sort of that initiative being able to make your own private server and having it supported by the developers. Kind of an interesting, I don't know. I think that should be the main takeaway from almost anything about this.
And fast forwarding to now, Jagex has fully embraced RuneLite, making it one of 3 clients available to download on the official Jagex launcher, although it hasn't been entirely smooth sailing.
Private servers. With how much the game changes, it could be possible to create a sister version going forward when the game gets sunset. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, it's just personally, people if I was going to lose a game that I had thousands of hours in, World of Warcraft, stuff like that, if that server died, I would feel a little sad. If I was no longer given, there's also another thing about this campaign, right? The campaign itself was talking about how on Steam, you don't actually earn any of the licenses. Sorry, you don't own the game, you earn a license to play the game, which is kind of a bit messed up in some ways. I got how many games on there, and they don't own them? But yeah, no, again, we're not focused on that. We're focused on a guy complaining about it. Why are we not trying to figure out what, having I'm not seeing people actually have dialogues. Why have Peter Griffin there? Having a conversation with the movement in question, trying to figure out how, going forward, what can you actually do to make it better for making these games better? Not making these games better, making it so that it's easier for developers to sort of, having an actual discussion. This, for example, this is going to go in front of Parliament. There is enough signatures now to go in front of Parliament in the UK government or even the EU government. But we don't really have much, we're too focused on the pirate software thing to sort of have an actual discussion on what is going on, what we could be doing, what could I actually be talking about. I feel like I'm naffing this up. I just really want to talk about it because it's kind of sad how drama hungry everyone is, that there isn't a discussion talking about the actual thing that's going on. I just really want to talk about it. I really do. What's the good news for this though? But no, like I said, I'm an idiot. I'm not exactly the best at explaining technical boundaries. I'm scared to know what's going to happen here. Look at this. We're not focusing on the actual thing itself though. Let's stop making memes about pirate software for a minute and actually, well, thanks for explaining it without pirate software. Well, that's what I mean. Look at all this. This is talking about stop killing games. And we're making it just a joke about pirate software. Let's stop doing that. I think it's just kind of, I get it. He's a punching bag. Let's just talk about the actual reasons behind it. Let's talk about this celebration. It passes 1 million signatures. That is a celebration, right? Stop Killing Games passes 1 million signatures. We don't need the pirate software. Pirate software is indicative of the success of what is going on with Stop Killing Games. It should be divorced from it. Quite frankly, it should be just about the initiative rather than the memes at this point. Horror possibly is one of the genres that has been affected by the lack of game preservation. I 100% agree with this tweet, by the way. I absolutely agree with this tweet. I absolutely love Hunting Grounds. You have no idea. I absolutely love some of these games. I can't remember what this is called. It's Rose. I think it's Rose something or another. It's got Rose in its name. And it's a Japanese game. I remember that much. I genuinely miss games like this. I genuinely do. I've said in the past, one of the things that I really want to see Capcom do, because Capcom has done such an amazing job with Street Fighter. They have done an amazing job with Street Fighter preservation. I want them to make a horror game collections. I genuinely want them to make a horror game collection. Forget about the Resident Evil license for a few seconds. Talk about things like Hunting Ground. Talk about things like the original games for Resident Evil, like the original Resident Evil 1, 2, 3. I would really love to see the janky PS1 games get ported as a big sort of horror collection from Capcom. Because regardless of what you think about the fighting game collection, the arcade collection, stuff like that, they have sold pretty well and they've done a good job.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe there was tool and ground farming.
Take you for a ride.
What the?
The arcade games featuring Marvel and Capcom characters are fighting their way onto Nintendo Switch as one collection.
What?
Flash and X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Ah, what's up?
Duke it out in Marvel versus Capcom 2, New Age of
What am I
Heroes.
fucking looking at?
Take down the Kingpin in the beat-em-up side-scroller The Punisher, and more.
Not to mention, the idea of a fighting game collection is heavily stressed about the idea of rollback netcode. You will be able to make a horror game without, you will be able to make these collections without worrying about rollback netcode. You don't need to worry about that. Not many horror junkies will be caring about if the game is going to be online or not.
As you know, every October we play Outbreak, playing online with the fan servers. Thank you to the fan servers. If you guys want to play this, because we get asked all the time, please just go on YouTube and type in Resident Evil Outbreak 2023. And if you have a PC and some patience, you can set this up yourselves. But huge, massive, I want all of you in the chat. Let's give it up for the fans that are keeping the servers active all these years later, because let me tell you, this game is the classic Resident Evil style.
Yeah.
But with friends.
You just need to put it so that the game is functional. I just wanted to make my sort of stance on this clear. I agree with the idea of stop killing games. I agree with the initiative. I just disagree with the fact that we're now making Pirate Software a meme. I don't like what he said, but I don't think he's the main focal point of what the initiative's about. The initiative should be about what it is about. Stop making Pirate Software like a meme and focusing on the clicks. Let's just talk about the games that we want to see saved from this. That's actually something I want to see. What games do you want to see saved from this? Because I know the entire point was to get crew back online. To get crew functioning. And what games do people actually want to see be saved from this? Because I can think of a few. Oh, yeah. No, this is actually on the docket, but I couldn't find it. EA shuts down Anthem servers. Players will not be issued a refund, and the game will no longer be playable after January 12th. 2026. That would be perfect for a private server. Just a private server where people can just hang out. Heck, I can even think of another game that might suffer from this. Trackmania is almost exclusively online. It's an exclusively online game that developers will generally just focus, you focus mostly on the online tracks. And if you designed a track with so much foliage or in an incredible design, you're gonna lose that track forever if the game goes offline. It's kind of sad in some ways. Anyways, let's move on to the more funny stories. I just find it really funny that we're gonna have a DLC of a bottle. We're gonna have a DLC for a bottle. That's just funny. I genuinely think that's just funny.